Your car won't start, and you're already halfway to the parts store thinking, it's the battery again. But hold on, that might be the biggest mistake you ever make. Because here's the truth. Over 60% of so-called dead batteries aren't bad at all. They're victims of hidden problems, lazy driving habits, or electrical gremlins your mechanic might not even check. Replacing it too soon doesn't just waste money. It masks the real issue. You could spend $200 on a brand new battery today and still end up stranded next week. Why? Because something else is silently draining it, overcharging it, or choking off its power before it ever has a chance to work. In this video, we're uncovering 15 expert battery secrets mechanics rarely tell you. The ones that separate a real fix from a wallet-draining guess. From invisible power leaks to coding mistakes that kill new batteries in months. We'll show you what to check before you replace anything. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for number 1, because it's a sneaky modern problem that's draining even brand new batteries overnight. So, buckle up, and don't touch that wrench until you've seen this list. Number 15, Intelligent Battery Sensor, IBS malfunctions. You've probably never paid attention to that little black box attached to your battery's negative terminal. But that's your Intelligent Battery Sensor, or IBS. And it could be the real reason your battery keeps dying. Modern vehicles use these sensors to track voltage, temperature, and charge rate so the computer can manage power efficiently. But here's the problem. When that sensor goes bad or starts sending inaccurate data, it tricks the system into thinking your battery is fully charged when it's actually starving. The result? You wake up to a dead car and assume the battery is toast. Then, after you replace it, the same thing happens again. Mechanics see this constantly. Perfectly healthy batteries getting replaced over and over because of a $60 sensor that no one checks. A bad IBS can also cause slow starts, erratic charging, or that dreaded battery discharge warning message that won't go away. The fix is simple. Inspect the wiring and connector for corrosion, especially where it meets the negative cable. You can temporarily disconnect the sensor to test if the problem disappears, or have it scanned by a shop with a diagnostic tool. If your car has start-stop technology or an advanced charging system, this sensor is even more critical. Don't ignore it, because no matter how new or expensive your battery is, if the IBS is lying to your car's computer, you'll keep getting stranded and wondering why. Number 14, poor ground straps or engine grounds. You can have the strongest battery in the world, but if your ground connections are bad, your car might as well be running on AA batteries. Every electrical circuit in your vehicle needs a complete path. Power has to leave the battery through the positive terminal and return through the negative side, which connects to the car's chassis and engine. That connection is made through ground straps, thick braided cables that bolt to the frame and the engine block. When they corrode, loosen, or break internally, electricity can't flow back properly. The result? Slow cranking, flickering lights, or total silence when you turn the key. Here's the tricky part. Bad grounds often look fine. The insulation hides the damage, or corrosion builds up where you can't see it, between the metal surface and the bolt. I've seen cars towed in for dead batteries that only needed a few minutes with a wire brush and a wrench. One loose bolt was costing the driver hundreds. To check your grounds, follow the thick black cable from the battery's negative post. Make sure it's tight and connected to bare, clean metal, not painted or rusty surfaces. Then inspect the smaller ground straps that run from the engine to the firewall or chassis. If they're green, crusty, or frayed, replace them. A bad ground doesn't just stop your car from starting. It can also fry sensors, cause erratic check engine lights, and even interfere with your transmission or fuel system signals. Before blaming the battery, check your grounds. Sometimes, the fix is literally tightening one bolt. Number 13, parasitic drains from hidden accessories. You park your car at night, everything seems fine, but by morning, the battery's dead. No lights left on, no open doors, just silence. That's the calling card of a parasitic drain. Something in your car that keeps pulling power when it shouldn't. It's one of the most frustrating causes of battery failure because it's invisible, unpredictable, and easy to overlook. Common culprits include glove box lights that never turn off, trunk or hood lights stuck on, aftermarket stereos wired incorrectly, dash cams that run 24/7, or even USB chargers left plugged into the cigarette socket. Some modern cars also have modules that wake up randomly overnight. Security systems, infotainment units, or keyless entry sensors that fail to go into sleep mode. Each one pulls just a small current, but over hours or days, they can drain a perfectly good battery flat. Here's how to check. With the car off and everything closed, connect a multimeter in series with the negative terminal and cable to measure current draw. Wait 20 to 45 minutes for the car's electronics to enter sleep mode. You should see under 50 milliamps of draw. Anything higher means something's feeding on your power. Then start pulling fuses one by one until the draw drops. That's your problem circuit. You can also do a quick visual scan at night. Look through windows for any faint lights or glowing buttons that stay on. Parasitic drains are sneaky, but catching them saves you from replacing battery after battery. Don't fall for the trap. Fix the drain, not the symptom. Number 12, loose or dirty terminals. Your car's battery terminals might look harmless, but those two little connections are the gateway for every spark of power your car uses. If they're corroded, loose, or grimy, your entire electrical system suffers, even if the battery itself is in perfect shape. Many drivers mistake this for a weak or dying battery, but in reality, it's just a bad connection choking the flow of electricity. Here's what happens. Corrosion, that white, green, or blue crust that forms around the posts, is actually a mix of acid vapors and metal oxide. It's not just ugly, it's an insulator. It blocks current flow, just like rust on a water pipe. The result? Dim headlights, slow cranking, random warning lights, or that heartbreaking click-click sound when you turn the key. Before you run to buy a new battery, pop the hood and inspect those terminals. If you can twist the cable by hand, it's too loose. Tighten the clamps until they're snug, but not crushing, around the posts. If you see corrosion, disconnect the cables, negative first. Then clean both the posts and the inside of the clamps with a wire brush or battery terminal cleaner. A mixture of baking soda and warm water neutralizes the acid perfectly. Once everything's shiny and dry, coat the terminals with a dab of petroleum jelly or dielectric grease to prevent future corrosion. This 5-minute fix has saved countless drivers hundreds of dollars. Because the truth is, most dead batteries aren't dead at all. They're just disconnected by a layer of dirt and neglect. Number 11, faulty alternator or voltage regulator. Here's a truth most drivers overlook. Your alternator is your battery's lifeline. It's not just there to keep the lights on. It's what recharges your battery every minute the engine runs. But when the alternator starts to fail or the voltage regulator inside it malfunctions, it slowly drains your battery until one day, click, click, nothing. The engine's dead, and everyone points the finger at the battery. A bad alternator can fail in two ways. Sometimes it undercharges, meaning it never sends enough voltage back to the battery. Other times, it overcharges, cooking the battery from the inside out. In both cases, the result is the same. A dead or swollen battery long before its time. To check your alternator, grab a multimeter. With the car running, measure voltage at the battery terminals. A healthy charging system should read between 13.7 and 14.7 volts. Anything below 13.5 means the alternator isn't feeding enough power. Anything above 15 means it's overcharging. Watch for flickering headlights, dim interior lights, or a battery warning light on your dashboard. All red flags. Another giveaway is strange noises, whining, grinding, or squealing, coming from the alternator pulley area. That means worn bearings or a slipping belt. Here's the twist. Some cars regulate voltage through the engine computer, not the alternator itself. That means replacing the alternator might not fix the issue if the computer isn't sending the right commands. So before you buy a new battery or alternator, test first. One bad regulator can destroy both and drain your wallet faster than your car drains power. Number 10, short, repeated trips. Your battery might not be dying, it might just be exhausted, and the culprit could be something as innocent as your daily driving habits. Those short back and forth errands, 5 minutes to the store, a quick run to work, school pickups, seem harmless, right? But here's the reality. Every time you start your car, your battery takes a heavy hit of energy, and it counts on the alternator to recharge it while you drive. The problem? Those quick trips don't give it enough time to recover. Starting a modern car can drain up to 3% to 5% of your battery's charge in seconds. It takes roughly 20 to 30 minutes of steady driving at moderate RPMs to fully replace that energy. When your engine barely warms up and you shut it off again, the alternator never catches up. Over time, that routine leaves the battery weaker and weaker until it simply quits. You'll notice the symptoms slowly. The starter cranks sluggishly in the morning, headlights dim at idle, or accessories flicker when you brake. Many drivers blame the battery and rush to replace it, only to face the same issue again weeks later. The solution is surprisingly simple. Once or twice a week, take your car on a longer drive, at least 25 to 30 minutes of continuous cruising. Let the alternator stretch its legs. If you can't, consider using a smart trickle charger overnight to keep the battery topped off. Batteries aren't lazy. They just need consistent exercise. Short trips starve them. A good highway drive feeds them life again. Number 9, corroded fuse box or blown charging fuse. Sometimes your car's dead battery isn't weak. It's just stranded behind a broken link in the chain. And one of the sneakiest culprits is a blown fuse or corrosion inside the fuse box. These tiny components control the power flowing between your battery, alternator, and every electrical circuit in your car. If even one fuse in the charging system fails, the alternator stops sending current back to the battery. It's like having a perfect power station with a broken wire. Here's what makes this problem tricky. A bad fuse can make your car behave exactly like it has a failing battery. You'll notice dim lights, weak cranking, flickering gauges, and warning lights. Sometimes the alternator works fine, but the power never reaches the battery because a charging fuse or fusible link has burned out. The fix? Pop open your fuse box, usually near the engine bay or under the dashboard, and inspect each fuse related to charging, ALT or BAT. If the thin metal strip inside the fuse is broken or blackened, replace it with one of the same amperage rating. They cost less than a cup of coffee and can save you hundreds. But here's where many people go wrong. Corrosion. Moisture, humidity, or battery acid vapors can creep into the fuse box and coat metal contacts with greenish buildup, blocking the flow of power. That means even good fuses can fail to make contact. A quick spray of electrical contact cleaner and a gentle brush can bring it back to life. Never underestimate the fuse box. It's small, silent, and often forgotten. But when it fails, your battery is left alone in the dark. Number 8. Incorrect battery type. AGM versus flooded. Not all car batteries are created equal, and using the wrong one for your vehicle can quietly destroy your charging system. The two main types you'll encounter are AGM, absorbent glass matte, and flooded lead-acid batteries. At first glance, they look nearly identical. Same size, same posts, same voltage. But inside, they behave very differently, and your alternator knows it. AGM batteries are sealed, maintenance-free, and built to handle deep discharges and heavy electrical loads. Think vehicles with start-stop systems, powerful sound setups, or luxury electronics. They require precise charging voltages, usually around 14.7 volts. Standard flooded batteries, on the other hand, are more forgiving, cheaper, and charge better at lower voltages around 14.4 volts. If your car's alternator is calibrated for one and you install the other, you're asking for trouble. Here's what happens. Put an AGM in a car made for a flooded battery, and the alternator undercharges it. The battery never fully refills and dies early. Flip the scenario, and the alternator overcharges the flooded battery, boiling off electrolyte, warping plates, and corroding terminals. Both lead to premature failure, even though the battery might be brand new. Always check your owner's manual or battery label before replacing it. Cars with energy recovery systems or stop-start functions almost always require AGM or even EFB batteries. You can also check the existing battery case. AGM batteries usually say AGM or VRLA somewhere on the top or side. Choosing the wrong type can cut your battery life in half. So before you buy, make sure you're not paying for power your car wasn't designed to handle. Number 7. Faulty battery cables. Here's a mistake that fools even seasoned mechanics. blaming the battery when the real villain is the cable that connects it. Those thick wires running from the battery to the starter and alternator may look fine from the outside, but inside they could be corroded, cracked, or frayed, choking the flow of power like a blocked artery. A healthy battery cable should deliver electricity effortlessly, but when corrosion builds up under the insulation or at the terminals, resistance skyrockets. The result? Your car cranks slowly, lights flicker, or sometimes nothing happens at all. You might even replace the battery and still face the same problem. The scary part is how sneaky it is. From the outside, a cable can look perfect. No cracks, no rust, nothing unusual. But peel back the rubber or slice open an old one, and you might find green corrosion eating away at the copper core. Moisture, road salt, and battery acid fumes slowly invade over time, especially near the terminal ends. Here's a simple test. Grab the cables and flex them. If they feel stiff, crunchy, or produce a faint crackle, they're corroded inside. Another clue? Hot spots. After starting your car, touch the insulation near the terminals carefully. If one section feels unusually warm, it's resisting current flow, a clear sign of internal corrosion. Replacing bad cables costs far less than a new battery or alternator, yet it's often the missing fix that solves months of frustration. Use heavy gauge copper replacements and ensure the contact points are clean, shiny, and tight. Remember, your battery can't deliver power if the cables act like roadblocks. In most dead battery cases, it's not the battery dying, it's the cables strangling it. Number 6, leaving power accessories plugged in. It's easy to forget. That phone charger, dash cam, or Bluetooth adapter you leave plugged in seems harmless, right? But here's the truth. Those tiny accessories can slowly drain your car battery even when the engine is off, turning a perfectly healthy battery into a dead one overnight. Modern vehicles are full of electronics that sip power constantly. Keyless entry, security systems, infotainment memory. Add aftermarket gadgets to that list, and you're giving your battery even more mouths to feed. Most 12-volt sockets stay live even after the car is turned off, which means your dash cam or USB charger might still be drawing current all night. It's called a parasitic drain, and while a few milliamps might not seem like much, over several hours or days, it's enough to kill a battery, especially if it's already aging. You'll recognize the signs. Your car starts fine one day, then struggles or dies the next. The culprit? Something as small as an LED light or USB adapter silently sipping power. In winter, when batteries naturally lose strength, this issue becomes 10 times worse. The fix is simple, but often ignored. Unplug everything when you're done driving. Better yet, invest in a voltmeter or battery monitor that plugs into your cigarette lighter. It'll show when voltage is dropping before you get stranded. For a more permanent solution, consider wiring accessories to a circuit that switches off with the ignition. That way, power is cut automatically when you shut the engine down. A $5 charger might seem convenient, but left plugged in, it can turn into a slow-motion battery killer. The easiest fix? Unplug, and your battery will thank you every morning. Number 5, unregistered or uncoded battery. BMW, VW, Mercedes, etc. Here's a little-known fact that catches thousands of drivers off guard. Many modern European cars need their batteries registered or coded after installation. That means you can't just drop in a new one and hit the road. If you skip this step, your battery's lifespan could plummet, and your car's electronics might go haywire. Brands like BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz have smart charging systems that adjust voltage and current based on your battery's age, chemistry, and condition. When you install a new battery, the car doesn't automatically know it's fresh. It still thinks the old, worn battery is in there, so it keeps overcharging or undercharging based on outdated data. Over time, this can cook your new battery, shorten its life, or even trigger random electrical issues like flickering lights, unstable idle, or warning messages that refuse to disappear. The process of battery registration tells the car's control module, hey, there's a new battery installed, start fresh. Coding, on the other hand, applies if you've changed the battery type or capacity, say, switching from a flooded lead acid to an AGM battery. The onboard system needs to adjust its charging profile accordingly. Skipping this step can also confuse features like start-stop systems and energy recovery modes. Many dealerships charge for the service, but you can do it yourself with a simple OBD2 tool that supports battery registration. Some cost under $100. So, if you drive a modern European car, never just swap and go. Always register or code your new battery, because even the smartest cars can't read your mind. A 10-minute software update can add years to your battery's life and save you hundreds in repairs later. Number 4. Old battery date code, shelf life. Most drivers assume a new battery is fresh off the factory line. But here's the catch. Many batteries sit on shelves for months, sometimes even over a year, before being sold. By the time you buy it, it's already halfway through its shelf life. That's why knowing how to read the battery date code is one of the smartest tricks every car owner should learn. Every automotive battery has a small alphanumeric code stamped or stickered near the top or side. The first letter represents the month. A equals January, B equals February, and so on. And the following number represents the year. For example, C3 means March 2023. If that code reads E2 or F2, that's mid-2022, meaning your new battery might already be over a year old. Why does that matter? Because batteries self-discharge over time, even when sitting unused. Sulfation, a buildup of lead sulfate crystals inside the cells, begins to form when voltage drops below 12.4 volts, slowly damaging capacity. A battery that sat too long uncharged could fail months after installation, no matter how new it looks. Retailers don't always rotate stock properly, so the older ones often end up on sale or installed by default. Before you buy, always check the code and ask for the freshest unit available, ideally less than 6 months old. If you already bought a battery and suspect it's old, use a voltmeter to check the resting voltage. Anything under 12.5 volts means it's been sitting too long and needs a full charge before use. Don't let shelf dust shorten your battery's life. The smartest drivers don't just buy a new battery, they buy a fresh one. Number 3. Weather-related wear, heat damage. Most people blame winter for dead batteries, but the real killer? Summer heat. High temperatures silently destroy more batteries than cold ever could. It's not the chill that kills, it's the cooking that happens months earlier when the sun bakes your car's engine bay. Here's how it works. Inside your battery are lead plates submerged in an electrolyte mixture of sulfuric acid and water. When temperatures soar past 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius, that electrolyte starts to evaporate, concentrating the acid and corroding the plates faster. The chemical reaction speeds up, generating even more internal heat, which causes the battery to lose water and capacity. Once that happens, the damage is permanent. The battery might seem fine through the summer, but when the first cold morning arrives, click, click, it's done. Heat also attacks from the outside. The constant temperature swings between day and night expand and contract the internal materials, leading to microscopic cracks in the grids and casing. This is why batteries in hot states like Arizona, Nevada, or Texas rarely last more than 3 years, while the same model might survive 6 years up north. Even under the hood, trapped heat from the engine accelerates the breakdown. Some modern vehicles now relocate batteries to cooler spots like the trunk or under the rear seat. And that's not a coincidence. You can fight back. Keep terminals clean and corrosion-free to improve efficiency, check electrolyte levels on serviceable batteries, and park in shaded areas whenever possible. In extreme heat, consider using a battery insulation kit to protect it from temperature spikes. Remember this rule: cold reveals weak batteries, but heat creates them. Guard your battery in summer, and it'll survive the winter. Number 2, faulty battery maintainer or charger. You might think using a battery maintainer is always a good idea. After all, it keeps your battery topped off while your car sits. But here's the shocker. A bad charger or maintainer can destroy your battery faster than neglect ever could. Cheap, low-quality chargers often lack proper voltage regulation. That means, instead of gently feeding your battery the perfect 13.2 to 13.6 volts it needs for long-term maintenance, they overcharge it, cooking the electrolyte, warping the internal plates, and creating gas buildup that shortens its life. It's like trying to hydrate someone by holding a fire hose to their face. Over time, the cells dry out, and the battery becomes permanently weak. On the other hand, some maintainers undercharge, trickling out so little current that the voltage slowly drops below 12.4 volts. That's when sulfation starts forming, those hard lead sulfate crystals that cling to the plates and block chemical reactions. Once sulfation takes hold, no charger in the world can fully bring that battery back. You can spot a failing charger by checking battery voltage after several hours of use. Anything over 13.8 volts or below 12.6 volts means it's not doing its job. Some older trickle chargers never shut off automatically, so they keep cooking the battery non-stop. Smart chargers, by contrast, adjust output dynamically, pausing when full and resuming only when voltage dips. Also, be cautious when charging AGM or gel batteries. They need special smart chargers with specific charging profiles. Using a standard one can permanently damage them. In short, the wrong charger turns good maintenance into destruction. Always invest in a reputable smart charger, because saving $20 on the tool could cost you a $200 battery. Number 1, ignition off draws and computer wake-ups. You've parked your car, turned off the ignition, and walked away. But did you know your vehicle might still be awake, quietly draining power? Modern cars are packed with electronics that continue to run even when the key is out. These small, sneaky draws are called ignition off draws, and they can flatten a healthy battery in just a few days. Here's the catch: it's not always something obvious like interior lights or trunk lamps. In modern vehicles, the ECU, alarm systems, telematics units, Bluetooth modules, and infotainment systems often stay powered for minutes, or even hours, after you shut off the engine. They're designed to go into sleep mode eventually. But if one system glitches, it can stay partially awake, sipping power non-stop. Some vehicles even wake up randomly when they detect movement, temperature changes, or phone connections nearby. The result? You come back after a long weekend, turn the key, and nothing. The battery is drained, and you're left blaming it when the real culprit is software. Hybrid and luxury vehicles are especially prone to this, as they have multiple onboard computers constantly communicating. To check for ignition off draws, you can use a multimeter set to amperage mode. Disconnect the negative terminal and connect the meter inline. After about 30 minutes, when all systems should be asleep, the draw should drop below 50 milliamps. If it doesn't, something's staying active. The tricky part is finding which system it is. That's when pulling fuses one by one can reveal the drain source. If you drive infrequently, consider using a smart battery maintainer or disconnecting the negative terminal during long parking periods. Remember, your car is a computer on wheels, and sometimes that computer forgets to sleep. So before you rush to buy a new battery, remember, most dead batteries aren't dead at all. They're victims of hidden drains, weak grounds, bad chargers, or simple neglect. Test smart, maintain regularly, and your battery could last years longer than you think. Got tricked by a dead battery that wasn't really dead? Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-world car tips that save you time, stress, and cash.